In a quiet, remote town, a long-abandoned Pop Chicken store was reopening, and the townspeople were thrilled. The mayor had announced that a new franchise owner, Mr. Grayson, had taken over and promised to restore the restaurant to its former glory. On the day of the grand reopening, the line outside the Pop Chicken stretched around the block as people eagerly awaited the familiar taste of fried chicken. Inside, the restaurant was bright and welcoming, filled with the mouth-watering aroma of fried chicken. However, something felt off. Mr. Grayson, the new owner, was unsettling. Tall and thin, with a wide smile that never reached his eyes, he greeted every customer with an enthusiasm that felt forced. The food, though, was incredible, better than anyone remembered. The secret blend of 20 herbs and spices was richer and more addictive than ever. Despite the strange atmosphere, people couldn't stay away, and the Pop Chicken quickly became the busiest spot in town. Not long after the reopening, people began to disappear. Before we continue,
don't miss out on your chance to win $50. Subscribe to our channel today, and you'll be automatically entered into our exclusive lucky draw. Stay tuned for the latest content and exciting updates. Subscribe now and get a shot at being our next lucky winner. Now back to Pop Chicken Store.
At first, it was the drifters and loners that no one really missed. Then it was Mr. Thompson, the butcher, and Mrs. Jenkins, the school teacher. The only thing they had in common was their last known stop, the Pop Chicken. The town was abuzz with rumors. Some said it was a serial killer. Others whispered about wild animals. But no one had any evidence. Despite the growing fear, people continued to visit the Pop Chicken, drawn by the irresistible food. Mr. Grayson's behavior became increasingly strange. His smile grew more sinister, and the cheerfulness in his voice sounded almost mocking. Yet, the townsfolk kept returning for more chicken, unable to resist its allure. Ethan, a young man with a knack for solving mysteries, couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. He had noticed that the Pop Chicken received its deliveries at odd hours, well after midnight. Determined to uncover the truth, Ethan decided to investigate. One night, around 2 a.m., Ethan hid in the shadows near the back of the Pop Chicken. The delivery truck arrived, and Mr. Grayson greeted the driver, who was obscured by a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat. Ethan watched as they unloaded large, bloodied sacks instead of the usual crates of chicken. Horrified, Ethan followed them inside. In the dimly lit kitchen, Ethan saw Mr. Grayson at a butcher's table, carving up what was unmistakably human remains. The gruesome sight confirmed Ethan's worst fears. The missing people were being turned into food. As Ethan backed away, he accidentally knocked over a stack of pans. The noise echoed through the kitchen, and Mr. Grayson turned, his face twisting into a terrifying grin. "You've seen too much," Grayson hissed, his voice cold and menacing. Ethan bolted out of the kitchen, Grayson close on his heels. He ran through the dark streets, the nightmare unfolding around him as he realized just how deep the horror went. Ethan knew he couldn't go to the police. What if they were involved? Instead, he decided to take matters into his own hands. He needed to stop Grayson before more people disappeared. Desperate, Ethan began researching ancient rituals and dark arts, hoping to find a way to stop the monstrous owner once and for all. Through old books and whispers of forgotten knowledge, Ethan learned of a ritual that could trap a soul within a cursed object, binding it for eternity. It was a dangerous and forbidden spell, but it was his only hope. Ethan gathered the necessary ingredients: salt, iron, and a mirror, a powerful conduit for trapping spirits. He planned to confront Grayson at the Pop Chicken, where the dark energy was strongest. That night, Ethan returned to the Pop Chicken, armed with his makeshift weapons. The restaurant was eerily quiet, the air thick with an oppressive darkness. As he entered, he saw Grayson waiting for him, a sickening grin on his face. "I knew you'd come back," Grayson said, his voice echoing unnaturally. "You can't stop me, Ethan. This town belongs to me now." Ethan didn't respond. Instead, he began drawing the ritual circle on the floor, sprinkling salt around it and placing the mirror at the center. Grayson watched, his smile faltering as he realized what Ethan was doing. "You think that will stop me?" Grayson snarled, his voice growing deeper, more distorted. Ethan ignored him, focusing on the ritual. As he chanted the ancient words, the room grew colder, the lights flickering wildly. Grayson lunged at him, but Ethan held up the mirror, reflecting Grayson's twisted face. The mirror began to glow, drawing in the dark energy that surrounded Grayson. He screamed, a horrible guttural sound, as his body was pulled towards the mirror. The ritual was working, but it wasn't over yet. Ethan continued the chant, pouring all his willpower into the spell. Grayson's form began to distort, his body breaking apart as it was sucked into the mirror. With one final agonized scream, Grayson was pulled inside, his essence trapped within the glass. The mirror shattered, pieces scattering across the floor. The air cleared, and the oppressive darkness lifted. Ethan fell to his knees, exhausted but victorious. Grayson was gone, his soul trapped for eternity. The town slowly returned to normal after Grayson's disappearance. The Pop Chicken was shut down, its doors boarded up, and the building left to decay. The missing people were mourned, and the town tried to move on, but the memory of what had happened lingered like a dark cloud. Ethan, though haunted by the events, found some peace in knowing that he had stopped Grayson. The town was safe, but Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that the evil hadn't been entirely vanquished. The mirror, though shattered, still held a dark power, and Ethan kept the pieces hidden, fearing what might happen if they were ever reassembled. As he walked through the now quiet streets, Ethan knew that he had only just begun to uncover the dark secrets of the town. There were more mysteries to solve, more evils to confront, and he was determined to face them head-on. But for now, the town slept peacefully, unaware of the horrors that had been averted. Ethan was the only one who knew the truth, and he would carry that burden for the rest of his life.